So, hi, Alison.
Hi, Pascal. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you
How's
doing?
I'm great. Yeah, really good. Has your
Good.
week been?
Good, thank you. Yes, it's
Yeah,
been busy. Yeah,
yeah,
lots of things in the pipeline, but yeah, it's been busy. It's been
yeah.
good.
And happy solstice.
Yeah, I know. And
Yeah.
happy winter
So
solstice to you.
yeah, winter for me, summer for you.
Yes, I'm very
Yeah,
happy that we're coming into summer. Very
yeah.
happy about it. Yeah.
Okay. And tell me about what you're wearing on your head.
So I'm wearing a unicorn. It's a very clear one and a very pretty
Yeah,
one if I do say so
yeah.
myself.
I've got a granddaughter
Um,
that would adore that.
and I think what came through about why it was important to wear and to talk about is because it doesn't matter what age you are. It's about the energy you hold, right? And the essence that you hold and the difference that you are, and to celebrate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's for me, it's not about taking it out on certain days, okay, I'm going to be a unicorn when I desire to be. No, I mean, what's the truth is there a part of me that's a unicorn? Absolutely.
That's
And I
yeah.
embrace that
It's always
fully, right?
magical. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So,
Mm-hmm.
there's something enchanting about a unicorn, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
extremely rare. They're very
Mm-hmm.
special. They have innate powers. They can make, I think, all sorts of miracles happen. And they're very enchanting. They're
Mm-hmm.
very, very enchanting. And I think the whole thing is at this moment in time is it's not just about the unicorn, but we're speaking about the unicorn, is that it's about um, that magic isn't just something that we think about or exists in books,
Mm.
and it's something that's out in the far away imagined world. No, it's really an embodiment for who we are as part of who we are,
Mm.
and a way of living your life, and taking a real stand for the magical people here in the world
Yeah.
is my intention. And that it's okay to allow yourself to be fully magical and to say that you are is kind of the key thing about where I'm going with this.
Mm.
There's lots of unique aspects that we have. And I don't want to only bring it when I go to a party. This is the other thing. Like,
Mm.
bring it when you go to a party. That's fantastic. But I want to bring it every day. I want to bring my magic every day. I want to conjure up stuff and create things and
Mm.
make, magic and miracles happen every day.
And
And
that's such, that's a part of embodying that miraculous aspect of ourselves, isn't it?
correct.
Yeah, to just allow, accept, acknowledge that, and yeah, have fun with it.
Yeah. And also they're very light, right? They're also light
Mm.
creatures,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're operating from a light frequency and using their light and bringing light, right,
Mm.
into maybe more, I don't know, trickier or tougher situations. And then magic shows up. But I think it's also leaning into a conversation of embracing your unique difference. We're talking about unicorns, but there's all sorts of difference and what I call difference makers, or the difference change makers,
Mm.
being different, embracing being different, and that's all good. And let's celebrate it. That's why I'm
Yeah,
wearing mine.
yeah. I guess change never happens by being the same as everybody else, does it? Mm.
No, and
It
I'm
is
here
those
today.
trailblazers that create the change.
Correct. And
Mm.
daring to change. That's
Mm.
the other thing. Daring to be different. But not like you're doing it because you have to. This is the other
Mm.
inauthenticity. Just because you are, not doing it because you have to, but because you just are, like bringing it fully into the light is the
Mm.
point, you know? And there's all sorts of different people that connect with that, right? So being different, the dreamers, that's also being different, right? Imagining a world and seeing it come into fruition. They're the difference makers, the rebels, if you want
Mm-hmm.
to, if people who have different ways of seeing the world.
Yeah.
That
The visionaries.
Yes, the visionaries. That's right. Correct. The visionaries, the change makers, the gladiators. Let's talk about them now. They're fantastic too. The gladiators and the warriors and the goddesses, the priestesses, you know, the queens.
And everyone with their own unique energy. You know, like, you know, if you take a set of oracle cards of anything, every single card has got its own unique vibration and message and energy, doesn't it? Everyone's different.
Correct. Exactly. That's the thing. And that's the whole point, is it's about being able to herald that change and herald that difference and bring that into the light and have you share your unique voice and what you uniquely care about. And it, you know, I think that's the whole thing. It's had a wrap of like, we've got to be all uniquely the same. You know, we've all got to fit the mold, you know. We've all got to fit the stereotypes.
Although, I mean, we have a need to be a part of a collective, part of a community, and to be accepted. And, you know, the peer pressure we talk about with teenagers, it's not you know, a group of people putting pressure intentionally on someone. It's someone wanting to belong and adapting their behaviour so that they are accepted, so that they feel included and part of that community. So we do have that innate need to be accepted, and that's, you know, and so often there's that conflict between, do I be my unique self at the risk of being ostracised by my tribe, which is essential for survival? So it's complicated, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, it is complicated, but I think, and that's why it's useful to share, because I mean, you can share your story about it too. But you know, I walked the journey with this myself personally. It's not something I'm just only saying to share with everyone. I've also gone through my own experiences with that. And I think the thing is about it is that, yes, we do all seek belonging. Ultimately, I think the way that we reach that place of belonging is by finding our own belonging, our own internal belonging, because ultimately part of that base is that, is being able to come to a place where we can fully accept ourselves, come to a place of belonging within ourselves. And as we do that, then we give space and rise to allow others to do the same. I think I've been challenged during my life when personally, you know, I tried to seek that belonging outside of me. I tried to seek that kind of acceptance outside of me. It didn't always go very well. I'm talking about even, you know, various times in my life, even younger, because it was a bit of a booby prize, really. At the end of the day, I saw, and other people can't give me that. It's something I have to give myself. And when I give it to myself, then I'm allowing others to do the same.
And I love that beautiful Brené Brown quote, or, you know, she said that she had to do a lot of work to get there, but she says now, I belong to me. So I don't have to belong to anybody else. That feeling, that very grounded, centered feeling of self-acceptance and self-worth, that I belong to me. And so then you can be uniquely yourself.
Exactly.
And not be frightened of being rejected.
That's right. Because the thing is, that's what changes the whole dynamic inside of that, because ultimately you're just wanting to belong to you. And when you belong to you, it gives rise to so much peace and so much freedom. And then, you know, you can just share who you are. You don't need to hide anything or keep anything enclosed. And also, the other thing is that we are not here to please everyone. We're not here to please everybody. We can't please everybody. You know, that's not what this is about. So the thing is that, you know, you do yourself proud by being, you know, true to yourself and honoring of who you are, and hold space that others are doing the same. And that's how we give each other our unique freedom, I think, really. And the ability to find that uniqueness in themselves as well, give people that opportunity to do so, instead of kind of forcing upon, because of, our conditioning, what we think people should be, instead of discovering who they are.
And that letting go of that anxiety of what will people think of me.
Yes, and exactly. And there is that anxiety. I'm not going to say that there isn't. There is that anxiety. The difference, though, is what you do with that is the point, really. Because the bigger booby prize, or the bigger concern, is that by also not creating a sense of your own belonging, then, you don't feel, like you said, you don't feel accepted within yourself. You don't feel like you're being true to you. So at the end of the day, then where do you stand inside of that? What you're always looking for outside approval. You're always looking
confirmation that you're okay.
Yeah, confirmation. And it's like going to be, it's never going to be enough. That's the other point. Number one, it's never going to be enough. And ultimately you reach a point within yourself anyway, where you're like, the biggest part is we're not here to also be everyone's karma chameleon, in the sense of like being everything to everyone and then nothing to yourself, right? So the point is, like, it's better to look within and look at the inner treasures that you have as a being that's here, and a personality that allows yourself to explore these things and share them and put them out there and embrace them as who you are. And for me, magic is one of those things, definitely one of those things. And also, being for peace, or, being a bit of a bohemian. I'm also quite a bohemian as well, in lots of different ways, that whole kind of free spirit and free thinker, that I fully embrace that, because it's part of my uniqueness. It's, again, there's lots of different things that make me. It's not one thing. It's lots of different things. And my hope is that, we can be in a space where we can embrace those unique differences and be removed from judgment, is the idea here. The more you uniquely come out, then the more uniquely other people can come out and share their uniquenesses, right?
And I just know for myself, along my journey, I've initially quite tentatively started to share the more spiritual aspect of myself and those spiritual interests. And the more work I did on myself and my own self-esteem, the more I can now just be very open about that, and all of the weird and woo-woo things that I get into, and not be worried at all what people think, which is so liberating.
I agree. I mean, that is what liberation is, what you're talking about completely, really. And this is the idea for me about, what it is to really set yourself free. Nothing anyone outside of you could ever give you something that inside, if you feel content with and are happy with. That's what true contentment is. That's what true inner satisfaction is, right? So, we want to start from that place, is the point I'm saying. Whereas normally that's somewhere hopefully we might get to. Maybe I end up getting satisfied. Maybe it comes about. No, let it be the starting place, right? And then let it grow and get bigger is the point.
Because that when you have that internal belief that you belong, that's the energy you radiate out, so that you manifest that reality, so that you feel as if you belong wherever you go, rather than that starting place of being, I don't belong. And so wherever you go, you're looking for evidence of people, rolling their eyes or turning their back on you. And
yes, you're right. And that's right. Thing. It's such a different, you're right, it's such a different occurring. It's exactly what you're saying, and opens up very different doorways and experiences as well, and manifestations, correct? Because then you're also then attracting other people who also feel the same, right? And reflecting
that are resonating on that same level. And that are radiating out that sense of we are all connected, which is what we were talking about last week. And so we are unique, but we are connected when we let go of that judgment.
Yes. And also what I like about this new thing that we're proposing here is that if we start with we belong to ourselves and we trust in that, then the right people, the right circumstances, the right tribe, the right everything align up. The way that we've been taught the other way is no, I'm going to try and fit myself into what they think I should be. And then I don't really belong to myself. And then I don't really feel I fit here anyway. So everything isn't really fully aligned anyway inside of that approach. Because things are missing, right? Inside of it. Whereas this way, this is who I am. This is what, this is what I'm radiating out. And then I align with the people, the circumstances, the situations, the life I want inside of it, and draw that to myself. It's very different.
And it's the only way to find your true tribe, really, to be
right.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how are you going, exactly like you said, how are you going to find those other nuances if you're not expressing them? They can't find you because it's all hidden.
Yes.
That's the whole thing, you see. So you're doing yourself a big disservice, because there could be these amazing people that, like I said, could be vulnerability is like one of your core strengths, right? And when you're vulnerable, you attract other people who also share their vulnerability, right? It could be you're a storyteller, right? But maybe you have been sharing that you're a storyteller, so you don't meet other storytellers, right? Or you're a magician, you have magical abilities. Well, maybe you're missing out on having great magical experiences with people, and what you're meant to create inside of that together, so I think we have forgotten inside of that, like, we're missing out when we don't fully align with who we are and share and be willing to share that and risk that fully. Then we're living half of ourselves, or we're living a fraction of ourselves, is the point. And to what extent only we know. To what extent only we know. So I wouldn't want anybody to, for me, that would be doing a disservice to yourself. And that would really, that upsets me, because the idea is that, I really want people to come here to realize their full selves and who they really fully are. Because until we do that, we're not going to be happy. We're not going to be content. So for me, I think peeling that back, and in certain cases, just allowing that, if you're somebody who's ambitious, or if you're somebody who's, enjoys wealth creation, if you're somebody, whatever is your thing, it doesn't matter what the thing is, like all of it and more, putting it out there, and putting a stake in you, because you are worth, and you are important, and you have no clue the difference that you are here to make, and the people and the connections, or even the type of partnerships, or the type of people that you'll meet by having shared that part of you that the other person is going, oh my God, like, I've always wanted to share that part of me, but I didn't do it, right? And then they come out and share it, right? So I think this is a wonderful ripple, and it's really a beautiful thing to make available to people, truly, versus kind of, that's what I mean, versus not really showing up, or not really showing yourself.
And just, doing your best to fit in.
Yes, correct. That's right. Correct. So
I have worked with people who've been so I don't know, they've tried to fit in so much all their lives, and people in abusive situations where it's dangerous to step outside what's expected, and
right.
some of them have just, they don't know who they are or what they want. They've just so lost themselves in that process. So it's a journey, and it takes work to find your true calling or your true passion or who you truly are, because you've spent a lifetime of adapting to stay safe.
Yes, I would agree with you about that. And that example you're using, I think similarly, looking at situations, and you're touching on as well about abuse, of course it's unique depending on each situation, but at some point there were a spark, they were being a light, and again, it depends on situations, and over time it disappeared, it went, being somebody to somebody else, seeking love and approval in all the wrong places. But, and then, however the journey is to coming back to yourself, it might be new, or it might be awakening some of those old things inside of yourself again that need reigniting. But sometimes it means bringing in new things that you maybe have walked through and gone through, that now a new part of you has come forward, with abuse, because of people going through that, you become, you embody new qualities like compassion and empathy because of having walked through those things, so,
and it's part of your unique story.
Correct. This is what I'm saying. So, so some of those things can grow, and it's part of your own unique growth, and that's a wonderful thing. Maybe also as part of being someone who survives that. It's also it could be you learn that embodying honesty is very important. That to achieve safety, you need to be able to be in a place with people that you can be honest with and safe with. And because, to be ultimately vulnerable, you've got to have those qualities in place. That's very vital.
And you do have to be discerning about who you're vulnerable with.
Correct. That's right. Absolutely right. So you learn those things. But I think also, from whether we're talking about abuse or any situation that someone has been through that has been challenging or tough, I think that's what, when you come through anything like that, also highlights what your desire to, in whichever way you do it, to come back to yourselves, to be your unique voice, to claim back that power again, so that
to find yourself again.
Yeah, correct. And you start to emerge back to yourself. This is the other thing. In those cases, it's not even about other people, because it's been too much about other people. It's about emerging back with yourself again, and finding those unique things. And some of them might be from the past and the ways that you did things, but some may be very new, because you've kind of changed, and that's okay. But again, even those things, allowing that up, so that's what I mean. If your unique thing you found is you're a musician, and, you found that music got you through, people talk about that a lot, like, oh, when, different things happened to me and I lost people, and you start to realize who stayed with me. They're like, very funny how it's been coming up a lot that people keep saying music. I had my music, that no matter what, the music stayed with me. Music didn't leave me. So I got my music, or music was my therapy, or music was the thing that got me through, So for different people, they then start to discover their unique essence through their journy, right? So maybe it is being a musician, maybe it's being an artist.
Yeah, maybe it's creative.
Maybe it's being creative. Right?
Which a lot of people started to tap into during lockdown.
Yes.
They started to, get out the colouring pencils or start writing their book or whatever it was. So, that was a beautiful opportunity to start to find yourself. One of a colleague, actually, when she's working with people, she often says, what's going on for you that you've never told anybody? And it is such a powerful question. And
yes,
or what do you want that you've never told anybody? And it just, opens up so much, I don't know, so many treasures.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So showing your full colors.
Yeah, and I think that's what I said, and most importantly to yourself, and then to others, and however you choose to translate that into the world. But yeah, most importantly is to yourself and for yourself. And there's incredible treasures hidden beneath. This is the other thing, right? Some of it is obvious and some of it isn't. And it's not, this is the other part. The more that we hear these stories, or we come on and we hear, you know, something like our conversation today, we go away and we think, okay, what is my unique difference, right? You know, sometimes it's just allowing yourself to say, you know, what you're giving yourself permission. I hope this conversation helps people realize they have full permission to do so. You know, if there's any way you felt silenced not to, then, you know, I'm really giving rise to the space that, you know, you have full permission to allow your uniqueness and whatever it is about you, or, you know, to come to the surface.
Yeah.
You know,
to embrace every aspect of yourself.
Yeah, and some are untapped treasures that you've just not gone to, or maybe have forgotten or locked away for whatever reason, right? So you might even surprise yourself. That's been also amazing when you hear stories about, you know, people starting to do things they didn't know they could. Like, it could be like this older woman starts to discover that she knows how to dance salsa, or, you know, and it's like incredible things happening like that. It's like, you know, be dancing, you know, all sorts of you might just completely surprise yourself. And that's my hope and divine wish, you know, in the smallest of ways and in the biggest of ways. You have no idea what treasures lie within yourself, you know, but if you give yourself that chance, you'll discover it.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a contribution to the world. It can simply be something that brings you joy, something that sparks light for you. And,
yes.
And every one of us deserve that.
Yeah.
And the more we can bring that joy into our lives personally, the more we radiate that out into the world and give other people permission to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And exactly, we want it to be in their unique way, because there's all sorts of unique areas that, you know, that we as human beings, we are here to be. So, you know, I'm not in any way attached to what any of that is, but it's exactly like you're saying. You have no idea that your unique differences or unique ways, how they then ripple out into the world, you know, but it doesn't have to be for the world. It can just be for you and in your own unique way, or for nature, or connected with animals, you know, there's all sorts of different possibilities. You know, that's what makes it so, you know, like exactly really, really interesting. And the reminder also that we only have one life. We have one life to do it.
Unless we come back again.
I just was thinking that as I said, it's funny you said that. And of course we can come back again. But I'm just saying in this case,
this life is so precious.
It's so precious, right? So, and my hope and divine wish also is when you listen to this conversation with me and Alison, something pops into your mind, something that you just thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do for myself today. And that's how I'm going to express my uniqueness in the world. And you don't hold back on it. You go and do it. You take that action, or you go and have that conversation, or you listen to that song, or you sign up for that program you wanted, or you start to write that paragraph about, in your book, whatever it is.
And it can take courage, but it's daring to do that is really powerful.
Yes, it takes courage, and it takes I think it takes support, you know, your own inner support.
Mm.
It can be nudgings. You know, my sense also for certain people is that sometimes normally it's not like this conversation hasn't come through in certain other ways, you know, maybe you're being nudged, or you've had little inklings here and there. And what I say to you is that you just need to take a step. That's what I want to say today. You just need to take a step. Okay. Don't see the whole mountain. Okay. In COVID, this is how I've been, you know, this is how I created my life, you know, within a 24-hour window. Also, because we're all living differently within this COVID situation. Some of us have been locked down, like myself, for a very long time. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
We haven't had a lot of respite and going out and doing this and things. So the embodied practice of taking a step is a living practice for me. It's not a let me think, right? But the power of that step, and then taking another step and another step, is so powerful. It's so powerful. So break it down. Don't see it as this one tremendous overwhelm. See it as one step. Take one step. That's all you need to do. And really that is all that we need to do. Then it will go as it needs to go. But the problem is why we don't embrace our uniqueness is because we're thinking about how all of that's going to go, and it becomes too big, becomes too giant, and then we don't do it. I don't think that's very empowering. Yeah. So
I've got this image of an ocean liner just crossing an ocean, and if you just go half a degree north or south, you end up in a very different place. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a huge shift all at once. Yeah. So I'm also thinking of a friend while I was studying hypnosis, and she went through a crisis and her marriage ended, and she was amazing. So in her 60s at the time, she took up tap dancing because she said, I've always wanted to do tap dancing. And her husband would have put her down for it, but no, she was free now. So she did her tap dancing. She did art classes. She started painting the most beautiful, beautiful paintings. And there were a few other things she did that, were on her bucket list, but she'd never dared to say and tell anyone. I think piano lessons, never dared to tell anyone or do anything about it until then. So it was fabulous to watch her blossom.
Yeah, that is absolutely lovely. I love hearing that story. Yeah, that's right. Correct. I think the whole thing is we don't need to wait till the end, till we get that, till we get that message, right? And some of us,
and we don't need to wait till we've got approval from other people.
This is the whole thing. I mean, you know what? As you touch upon that, I've gained so much wisdom from older people about this. When you actually ask them, they're like, oh, please learn from us. And it's like, well, what do you mean learn from us? What do you want me to learn? They're like, you don't need, if there's different things we want to share, but one of the big learnings getting to where we have later on in life is we wish we didn't care too much about what others had thought, because we would have just done things and things that we held ourselves back because of that, and life is too short, and you don't want to live in regret. Why? For what reason? So, like I said,
so embrace your uniqueness.
Yeah, it's embracing your uniqueness. That's right, and your unique differences.
Yeah,
and taking that one step.
Yeah. And put on your unicorn horn or your bunny ears or your Mickey Mouse ears or your Mary Poppins hats and umbrella, whatever it is that uniquely represents you.
Yeah. And just let it out. That's exactly what I say to today. Let it out. Whether it's just with yourself or a friend or further out in the world. Just take that step and make it go a little further today. Beautiful. And allow your uniqueness to touch other people's uniqueness is the aim.
Yeah, and encourage other people's uniqueness.
Yeah. Correct. That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Lovely.
Lovely chatting with you as usual, Pascale.
Yeah, lovely chatting with you.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see where we go next week.
Absolutely. Yeah. Same time, same place.
Same place.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Awesome. Have a great week.
You too. Bye.
Bye.